Reported this morning that Harry is close to reaching a settlement deal with the owners of the Sun News Group newspapers. The Duke of Sussex is suing NGN, as they're called, and a High Court trial was due to start at 10 a.m. today. But if Prince Harry doesn't agree an out-of-court settlement, he may be going into the trial with a bit of a gamble, because even if he wins, he could end up having to pay the cost. Let's explain this, all right? It's a really weird thing, and it explains why Harry is at a fork in the road. Here he is, Prince Harry, having to do a lot of thinking about whether he settles or whether he fights. He's at the fork, and it's this morning he has to make this decision, apparently. So just to explain why, we've got a newspaper here, OK? And let's say you've got a newspaper versus, we'll call it a litigant. It could be Elton John, could be Harry, could be, I don't know, Hugh Grant. So whatever, identikit litigant is taking action. So the conversation starts like this. The litigant says to the newspaper, I'm suing you. I don't like the way you behaved. The newspaper then says, go ahead, we've got loads of money. And then you have this period where the lawyers go back and forth. It's not even in court yet. 5 million spent by the newspaper, 3 million by the litigant, 8 million costs in total before it's even reached court. So the newspaper then says this, take 1 million, litigant, and go away. Take 1 million and go away. And then it's really hard for this person, whether it's Harry or Hugh Grant, to decide what to do. Because if you take it to court and win, but you're awarded less than the 1 million you were offered, you have to pay all the costs. In other words, the whole 8 million goes to you. And to put that in an even more simple way, this explains it. It's a weird principle. Win less than the offer, get shafted with costs. That's the way our system works. Whatever we feel about it, that's the way. That's the reason Harry is really having to think this morning. So here's what happened with Hugh Grant. Now, as you know, Hugh Grant was suing News Group and The Sun. And it was phone hacking, unlawful information gathering, landline tapping, the burglary of my flat and office, the bugging of my car, the illegal blagging of medical records, lies, etc. He settled. People say, why did you settle? He says this, the rules around civil litigation mean if I proceed to trial and the court awards me damages that are even a penny less than the settlement, I would have to pay the legal costs of both sides. My lawyers tell me that's exactly what would most likely happen. Murdochs are very expensive. So even if every allegation is proven, I would still be liable for something approaching £10 million in costs. And he says, I'm afraid I am shying at that fence. That is a perfect explanation of the situation that Harry is in right now. And I don't know, Carole, it's a big gamble to go ahead with a case, isn't it, with a trial?
Yeah, but his is a bigger situation there, because Harry sees himself as a warrior in the crusade against the media. He wants to hold the media accountable. And basically, he's been obsessed now for 25 years with the media. Ironic, really, seeing that's how he makes his millions now from the media.
For good reason. I mean, we can understand why he's obsessed with the media. I will let you... Please don't bring the death of his mother 25 years ago into this. Was more than 25 years ago. Well, I do bring it in, Carole,
no, I'm sorry. He's
relevant.
Not suing for that. He's suing for saying that information was gathered against him illegally. That's what he's suing for. Get it right.
And it sounds like he's winning in the sense that they've made an offer.
Well, no, but what's happened is overnight, which I felt, which is so typical of Harry, pretends he's this warrior. What's happened is he was talking to his lawyers yesterday, and the lawyers have asked for the trial to be stopped because what they're saying is because of the time difference in California, the lawyers couldn't take proper instructions yesterday, which is tosh.
It may be, but he's got this decision to make.
Well, no, it's tosh in the sense the Justice Fancourt, who's like, doesn't believe that. He's actually said, I'm not having that. So he wants to start the trial anyway.
At some point, Andy might need to speak.
The big decision he has to make is, will he take it? If he takes it, that would tell me that he's not the warrior he thinks.
Now, that's the question. Andy, I appreciate the Hugh Grant argument is if you win less than you were offered, you get shafted on costs. So I hope I've explained that. But Carole's argument is he has to properly fight it in court, or he's essentially not a man of principle.
Obviously, the system puts the litigant in a terrible situation, and that's, I think, a fault in our legal system. He shouldn't have to make that choice. If he's proving himself to be correct in the allegations that he's made in a court of law, he shouldn't then face millions of pounds of cost.
That is, in the old phrase, it butters no parsnips, that argument, because he is in that situation.
He is in that situation, but I think we also can understand that he's in that situation. And if he makes the decision to, take the money from the Sun, then he's done so, quite reasonably, as Hugh Grant did. But it is a huge shame, and I do think it's relevant, Harry's background. I do think it's relevant that he lost his mother in the circumstances he did. I mean, you agree that people's backgrounds are relevant when we're talking about this issue.
What did I say? What are you saying to me?
Well, I mean, for instance, you worked for News of the World until 2011 when it was shut down. So I think, the viewers will understand that you come from a particular viewpoint on this when you're defending the media.
Please.
You work for a newspaper.
What a cheap blow that is. Because I work for a newspaper, I agree with phone hacking.
You're not going to bite the hand that feeds.
Do not even go there.
I don't work for a newspaper.
That's disgusting.
I don't work for a newspaper. I don't work for a newspaper. I don't work for anyone.
I've never hacked a phone in my life, and I've never got information illegally in my life. So do not try to tar me with that brush.
He's mentioned the News of the World, I think, because it's very tied up in this, and I guess there's
It's not tied up in this.
No, but
this is the Sun.
It's but it's part of that stable. Yeah. Anyway,
don't try and
you worked for the News of the World for 10 years until 2011 when they were shut down, having been found.
All right. Let's go to Dave in Wirral with some relief. Hi, Dave.
Oh, hi, Jeremy.
What do you think? I mean, Harry's got a tricky. It's the fork in the road, isn't it?
I think Carole hit the nail on the head. Harry wants to be seen as a warrior. I saw a programme where he said that most people couldn't afford to take the paper to court because they would lose money. And Harry said that he would do it because other people couldn't afford to do it. And now he's turned tail and said, it's looking he's turned tail that he is going to take the money rather than take it. So he's publicity seeking, as him and his partner do all over the world. And I think, this has shown him in his true light to what he is.
And of course, the difficulty of taking the money, which we should mention, is that the news group will not admit liability. They will not admit they've done anything wrong. And Andy, he won't be allowed to say, under the terms of the agreement, that proves I was hacked, that proves they were blagging me, whatever. Because the deal will be this: we'll take the money and close the case. Now, at that point, you do start to worry. He's not the warrior anymore, is he?
I think he has an opportunity to be the warrior, and I hope he takes it. I hope he takes the risk, and if it means he's charged millions, I think there are a lot of people in the country who would help him
then you agree with Carole.
So he should carry on with it.
Well, I believe he won't, because I think he's probably the reason he's held up the court case today. He's getting grief from Meghan, who was saying this is going to cost tens of millions. It very probably is, and they don't have the money anymore because their star is in The Descendant in America now. People are turning on them. Vanity Fair turned on them last week. They're not going to get the work they used to get. So that's why I'm betting he'll take the money.
But also, no one's got 10 million to spare.
I would guess that's what he spent already on the other cases.
I wonder, yeah. He'll probably get it back as well. If he settles, he will get some. I would think he'd get 10 million damages and 10 million costs. Yes. I would guess. And this must be very tempting. Thank you, Dave. After the break. Beth in London, good afternoon. Morning. Why have I done that again? That's twice now. I did it yesterday. I must just say hello. Hello, Beth in London. How are you?
Oh, hello. I so hope that Harry goes to court, but I have a feeling he might not have a choice. Yesterday, the tabloid offered Murdoch put up his offer, and this is what we have heard for all the rest of it. Steve Coogan said he kept saying no, and they put more money up. Kept saying no, put more money up, put more money up. So I have a feeling that they now. He really is at a crossroad where they have put the offer up and his lawyer have advised him that that's going to be very, very difficult to get in damages due to their experience.
The weirdness of the situation, as I explained, is it's not so much to do with winning now. It's he has to win more than they've offered.
That's
and if
what
they've
I'm
offered
saying.
10 million... Yes, exactly. So if they've offered 10 million, he's got to be sure he can win more than 10 million. And that's really hard.
I'm saying. That is what his lawyer is saying. What they're offering you now, I doubt very much they will give you in damages.
Yeah, I think you're right.
That's why I say that's where he is. And they have, with all the others, it has gone down to the day before.
Yeah, but hang on. Carole's making a different point, Beth. This isn't about the cash. For Carole, this is about, have you got the principles to go into a court and properly fight it?
Yes, but also you will know beforehand you will lose all those money.
Well, you don't know that.
If your lawyer says to you, there's no way you would get those type of damages from a judge.
Yeah, that's true. Let's move on. Beth, thank you. Teresa in Derbyshire, hi.
Hello, good morning.
What do you think? Should he fight on?
I think he should fight on, but really the real reason that I'm calling is because I think we have the worst example of the press on your programme regularly.
Thank you.
Which is Carole
Compliments from
Malone.
you, Teresa.
Well, on what basis do you say that, Teresa?
I tuned in this morning, and I've always liked, I did like your programme, but I tune in fairly regularly to see Carole Malone shouting and talking over people.
What did I get wrong today?
Hate-filled views, hate-filled
What did I get
views.
wrong today about Harry? Tell me.
Everything that you say, Carole, I find offensive.
I think
find the way
maybe
that
that's
you
it,
say
Teresa. You
and
didn't.
what that you say offensive.
Yeah, but you've come to Carole from a particular point of view, because you say right wing as if that's a bad thing. That's just, Carole wakes up
where I
right wing.
am,
Yeah.
I wish you did have the money to continue to fight the press, because people don't fight the press in this country.
They
The
fight them
press
all the time.
are a
That's simply not
disgrace.
true.
It
Simply
is
not true.
It's owned by people with bags and bags of money spreading their hatred, and you're a prime example of it.
Oh,
You're a prime
let Carole reply.
If anyone is hate-filled, Teresa, it's you, not me. My views are my views. I'm not trashing your views. I'm asking you to explain to me what I said that was hateful about Harry today. Do you not tell you what I think is hateful? I think it's hateful that Harry criticises the press for an invasion of his privacy and yet has invaded the privacy of his own family to the most disgraceful and disgusting degree.
What, calling
But
them
perhaps
racist,
you don't think that's the wrong thing. Perhaps you don't think a man like Harry calling his family racist is a bad thing.
Okay.
I do.
Teresa, thank you for your call. Call again. Tony in Hampshire, hi.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you all?
We're good, thank you. Gosh, you've calmed us down.
Sounds calm.
What a lovely thing after all that palaver.
Oh, well, thank you.
Should Harry... OK, I'm thinking if you're Harry, because you're you're zen, you're going to settle, Tony.
Well, to be honest, first of all, I was going to preempt my opinion by commenting to Carole, but I wouldn't want to be unkind. But I just want to say to Carole that it does come across, Carole, as just unkind at times. And I've seen in the past, you're a hardened TV person and also, obviously, a journalist, but I've seen people make comments towards you, just a couple of criticisms, and I've seen you crumble in those circumstances. And I believe...
Really?
We may not have time to do Carole's greatest hits now, Tony.
Exactly.
Is there anything you want to say about Prince Harry?
Yes.
Because the
what I wanted to
preamble
say
there
is
was kind of costly. Yeah.
I understand. But what I wanted to say is that, yes, I think that Harry does should settle if it would transpire that it makes sense. And the reason being, I think that if he didn't, then that would come across as having, been a loss, and he would be ridiculed for that. To settle and to have shown the awareness, to give him the awareness and to take on the son, I think his job has been done.
His job's done, Eddie. But you're sort of in two camps on this, aren't you?
His job, well, on one hand, I agree with what Carole's saying about if he's going to fight the good fight, then fight it, and it's dangerous and you've got to take the risk. What I worry about is he is going to undermine the principle that he's been standing by from the start, and I believe it is a principled stance. I think it's important what he's been able to do is stand up to the papers in a way that the average man and woman cannot do in this country.
In a strange way, you sort of almost agree on that area, that it's about principle. We've got to move on. Thank you, Tony. Thanks for all your calls. Later.